Winning the Canada Life Vanier Cup is the ultimate prize in Canadian university football. Only 2 teams make it to the final game, and we spoke to 3 all-time U Sports football greats who competed in Canadian university football's biggest game to look back on their experience.
I think it represents the pinnacle of greatness at the university level. I mean, obviously it's your national championship, and it's what a lot of people strive for. I think growing up, a lot of Canadian athletes see that on TV, and they see the great athletes that play in the Vanier and go on to the CFL and have great careers there. So I think it's just an opportunity for them to strive for that.
It's pretty important. I mean, it's in context, it's a lot of young guys that come through high school and get to university, and especially if they've people that have come from their high school have gone and had an opportunity to play in U Sports and get to a Vanier Cup. And if the tradition or a championship has been at the school, won by the school that a player goes to, they carry it with great pride, and it certainly is a motivator.
You know, it's our national championship. It's something that all university football players and teams, strive to make it to the Vanier Cup, and only 2 teams make it. So most teams, most players throughout their career do not ever play in a Vanier Cup, let alone win a Vanier Cup. So to be able to play in that Canadian National Championship is every Canadian university football player's dream for sure.
As these former players can attest, actually getting to the Vanier Cup is no easy task.
It just made it so exciting to play the best of the best, and to have the best in Ontario play the best in Quebec, but they also had to go through the best of the East, and we had to go through they had to go through the best of the West. So it's so exciting to see everybody coming together after such a long grinding season and have to play the best football that they can to really bring home that championship.
The next stop is the Vanier Cup this Saturday in Toronto against the Calgary Dinosaurs.
Back then it was called the CIAU, and now it's called U Sports, but you needed to be on a roll during playoff time. You needed to stay healthy, and you need a little bit of luck too. And we played against some great teams during my days there, and just to get to that Vanier Cup championship, that was the challenge. We didn't necessarily have a lot of depth, maybe being a team from out in the Maritimes compared to, say, the Westerns of the world, but just staying healthy and getting on a roll, and maybe a little bit of luck too. You needed all those kind of factors to get to that championship game.
And it was very clear year after year. I mean, you're in university to go to school, but we are aiming and targeting to win a Vanier here at the University of Ottawa. And so it was a progression, and that progression included our maturing as young men, being coached up, getting better at what we did, working harder in the off season, and continuing to recruit.
When you mention Vanier Cup, sometimes it's bittersweet memories for me, but to play in the 1990 Vanier Cup, that was just the second year that the Vanier Cup had been moved to Sky Dome, which is called back then. Now the Sky Dome or Rogers Centre is kind of an older stadium, but at that time it was brand new. So 1990 was the second year of the Sky Dome. So to be able to play in the Sky Dome from our little kind of small stadium at St. Mary's and all the other small stadiums we played in, to go to the Sky Dome was an incredible feeling. They let us use the Blue Jays locker room. You mentioned being pre-game. What are you thinking in the dressing room? We were in the Blue Jays dressing room, which back then, in the early 90s, the Blue Jays were on the verge of going ahead to win some World Series back then. So it was an honor to play in that stadium, to be in that dressing room, and the nerves before the game, it was like playing like in the pros. So it was very exciting, and all the guys were nervous, but very excited to be able to have an opportunity to play in the Sky Dome in the Vanier Cup.
When the game starts, it's all a little bit of a blur, but you remember those key plays that really made an impact in the game, and you remember the emotions that you felt during those key plays. And then obviously, I was fortunate enough to win one, and I remember obviously that clock ticking down and us running onto the field and celebrating with each other, and just that ecstatic feeling of knowing that all that hard work finally paid off.
And then we lost our starting quarterback, Jimmy Colton, relatively early in the game, and he had been tremendous that year and very much a part of our offense. And Yves Leclerc, a young 16-year-old, maybe just about turned to 17, who had a command of the English language, but it wasn't great. And according to the coach, he just said, look, you get in there and run the football. And Billy Harrison was my running mate. He was a tremendous player, went on to play pro for a bunch of years. And we had a pretty good game running the football. And our defense all year long had been tremendous, and they were tremendous again against a really explosive Calgary offense. Yeah, our defense it was the reason we were able to, I think it was the final score, whatever, 14-9 or something like that. We won that game because of defense, and we were able to hang on to the ball and keep it away from their offense because we ran the ball real well.
Looking ahead to this year's Vanier Cup, Chris Flynn, Neil Lumsden, and Chris Merchant shared their advice to the next generation, looking to etch their names in the history books this year with the Vanier Cup right around the corner. The big game airs on CBC Television, CBC Gem, and CBCSports.ca at 1 p.m. Eastern on November 26th.
I think they're going to put on an amazing event. I think Western obviously has great facilities now, and they've done a great job of upgrading those facilities. And I think people in London are huge sports fans. So it's a great town. It's a great university town. And obviously this will be a huge event for not only football, but just sport in London. And I think it's just going to be exciting, whoever's playing. And from what I've been seeing, I think Western's going to be there. So I'm pretty excited to see them continue their winning ways. But whoever it is, it'll be an exciting game, and I know that they're going to be the two best teams in Canada who come out and battle it out. So I'm excited to see who that will be.
Well, those athletes trying to make it to the Vanier Cup, anyone can make it. A lot of times it's the top teams that make it. We were not ranked that high in my first few years, and it didn't take a lot to turn it around. So a lot of times you see the same teams make it into the Vanier Cup, but hey, if you make it to the playoffs, anyone has a chance. So, keep dreaming and believe in yourselves and keep working hard. And next thing you know, you could be playing in that national championship. And everyone's got a chance. So get into the playoffs, and you'll have a chance to get there.
When it was all said and done, there's no question there was a bit of relief that we had done it and accomplished it. And we'd done what we had set out to do. Anytime you do that, no matter what it is in life, it's pretty gratifying. And I can remember just sitting around after and not wanting to go crazy, but just feeling accomplished. There's that sort of wave that comes over you when you feel that satisfaction, and that you did it with a bunch of guys you love.